get to be any little thing that we want to be. No matter what comes our way, we'll be together.
Welcome to Homeschooling Down South. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Kat. We're two Southern homeschooling mamas sharing real talk, resources, and inspiration for life and learning in the Southeast.
Each week, we'll chat with inspiring voices in the homeschool community, highlight must-see nature spots and field trip gems, and share resources from across the region.
Whether you're new to homeschooling or a seasoned pro, pull up a chair and join us as we celebrate the joy, freedom, and community of homeschooling down south.
We'll laugh together, we'll learn together, find the joys in life together, give each other grace and
Hey everybody,
space to
welcome back.
breathe.
Hey, y'all.
We're excited for this episode. What makes me most excited about this episode, Kayla, is that this is one of the conversations that we had that I think sparked
Yes.
the need for this podcast.
Yes.
Because you had an experience that you were like, this is so cool. And you told me about it. And by the time you told me about it, it was almost over. And I was like, oh, I wish I would have known about that. And how did you find out about it? So before I keep going down that rabbit trail, let's tell the people what we're talking about today.
Okay. So
I want to ask you, but I keep forgetting exactly the name. So I want to ask you where you went, but I keep calling it the wrong thing. So tell us where you went and what you did.
I went to the Lego Discovery Center in Atlanta. That is what we're talking about today. If I mess up throughout and you hear me refer to Legoland, I'm going to try so hard not to do it. But if I do, please know that I am talking about the Lego Discovery Center in Atlanta. If I say the Lego Discovery Museum in Atlanta, it's all the same thing. I don't know why I can't get it straight, but it is the Lego Discovery Center in Atlanta. It is located at Phipps Plaza in like the Buckhead area. And it's kind of a fascinating place because it's in the mall.
Oh,
yeah. Like you go in and you go up the escalator and it's just like there. It's like your Macy's or whatever down below.
Oh, I don't think I realized that. This whole time I've been thinking it was like a standalone building, but it's
No.
inside Phipps.
Yeah, because like you
For
come
those
out
who don't know, this is like it's a very famous, not famous, but it's a place that most people who live in Atlanta,
sure.
in and around Atlanta, like know Phipps for, like they do like a big holiday thing.
Yeah,
is what
higher
I
end
always
shopping.
Yes.
Yeah. The Phipps and Lenox are the two big, like, real pretty places at the holidays that are decorated. So we parked in the parking garage and then went up. And I did not tell my children where we were going because I wanted to surprise them. So let me backtrack and tell you how I found out about this.
Yes, please, because that's the piece that, one, I was like, how did you find out about this when you told me what you had gone and done? But I also think that you telling us about this is a great thing for our listeners to hear about how do you find out, because it wasn't just that you went there for their homeschool days.
Yes. So this was in March of this year, and I just saw a friend post, I think it was in our local homeschool page, that it could have just been like on her Facebook wall, but that she had taken her kids to the homeschool days at the Lego Discovery Center. And I was like, I'm so sorry. Tell me more, please. Tell me more. So I think I reached out and I just asked her and she was like, oh yeah, tickets are super discounted and it's, for the homeschoolers. And the thing is, it's the month of March, the whole month of March. I found out about this 3 days before the end of March, and it's only Monday through Friday. And so we went on either a Thursday or a Friday. I can't remember the exact date, but it was too late at that point because Monday was going to be the last day. You know what I'm saying? And so and we have our co-op on Monday, and this was during that time. And so many of our friends were like, I can't go on Monday. And I mean, it's just over at that point. So I found out just in the nick of time, and you don't have to have a group minimum. That's the benefit of going in March, because the other thing that I did discover just in researching this for the podcast is they have, like, I'm looking at their website right now. They have a spot for a homeschool group.
Okay, like any time of year.
Yes, it doesn't just say school group. This specifically says homeschool group. Gather your homeschool friends and plan the ultimate Lego field trip. But you have to have 10 or more. So
Of
it's this
of a certain age, or is there not an age on it?
it
Because
does
some
not say.
Okay, because some places when you're trying to organize a group will say, 5 and up, or sometimes there's those kinds of age boundaries around it. But that is one of the hard things is trying to meet those minimums. I feel like
Yeah.
that is where we do run into some challenges to go and do activities, especially the ones that are like a field trip that a school would go do
Yeah.
because they're so used to a class of 25 or 30
Sure.
kids. And so they have these minimums that can be really hard to meet, especially because life happens and we're homeschoolers. And
Yeah.
if my family's sick, we're going to stay home. We're going to get better. We're not going to like push and go. So that's cool. So
Yeah.
in the homeschool month, you don't have to meet that minimum.
Right. In the homeschool month, you do not have to meet that minimum. You can just go just your family. But it was really cool to know that you can get that same rate. So the school year rates are $9 per person. That's across the board, students and adults. And the summer rates, because you can do it in the summer too, it's $12 per person.
Okay.
And you do still have to have that minimum of 10. But in the month of March, there is no minimum. You can just buy your homeschool day tickets, and they're $9 a person. Cost us, very minimal cost to go.
Did you purchase your tickets online? Did you have to show proof of your here in Georgia, it's a declaration of intent, or did you buy the tickets at the door? How did you have to verify that you were a homeschooler?
So that's a funny story, and a cautionary tale of why you should always have a copy of your DOI on your phone or in your email, because I'm usually more in the details and more like situationally aware when I plan things. But I just bought my tickets online and just figured it was like the honor system. And we get there, and the family in front of me is asked to show their DOI. And I was like, "My gosh." And I'm like frantically like searching through my emails because I knew
Scroll.
yeah, and I knew I had emailed myself a copy, or maybe it had emailed me a copy. I knew I had it on my phone, but, like, I didn't know what the file was under, so it was like, how do I search for this one thing? Like, did I save it as DOI? So, it was a total blessing that I had that and was able to just, like, pull that up, but PSA, they require your DOI as proof to get in. Like, you already have your tickets or whatever, you've already paid for them, but you have to show that to get in with that rate.
So that's really good for people to know here in Georgia, your declaration of intent. And there's lots of places that do require it. So it really is probably a great idea to just have your DOI saved to your phone. But that's also really good information for anybody who's like traveling from out of state.
Yeah.
They're coming into Atlanta and they're thinking, "Oh, I remember hearing about going to the Lego Discovery
Center.
Center." Not the experience. I keep putting experience in there and it's not the right word. If they're thinking they would like to go because they're going to be spending a weekend or a week in Atlanta or whatever, you need to have some sort your state's proof of
Yeah.
homeschooling, or, if you're a member of HSLDA, I know that you can get like proof of homeschooling through
Yep.
them. So
Yep.
that's really good information to know. Okay. So you've got your tickets,
Yep.
you find your DOI on your phone, and what happens next?
So we get everything scanned and we go into this area where there's all these different buckets. So the first bucket you walk up to are the heads. And then there's the bodies, and then there's the legs. And so you go through this whole process to build your own little Lego creator or Lego creation. And they do tell you at the beginning that that's what you're going to do. And just keep in mind, you can't take that character home,
Okay.
but it's to take with you throughout, because there's interactive stations where you can put your little Lego guy in this little box, and it like takes a picture and puts them in different scenery and stuff like that.
Oh, cool. So this
Oh.
is Lego size. This is
Oh yeah,
not
real Legos.
okay.
Yeah. And so after you've made your little creation, You come to the first ride, which is just wild to me that there's a ride inside the mall like this.
I wasn't ready for you to say ride.
It's a ride. Okay, so if you've ever been to Disney, and I don't have any, like, I can't compare it to any other theme parks because Disney's the only big one I've been to. But there's these rides where you're kinda like gliding on the floor,
Yes.
and
Okay.
it's like magnets or whatever. There's like a track under the floor, but the thing that you're in, the vehicle that you're in is like gliding around on the floor.
Okay.
So it's one of those. And so you get in and it's like the seat, it's a two-seater. So there's a bench in front and a bench in back, and the bench in back is a little bit higher up. And there's these little like guns. I don't know if you ever played Duck Hunter as a kid.
I did.
I did too. So it's like the little duck hunter guns. And the ride is called Kingdom Quest, and you're on a quest to capture the princess. So you have to shoot the troll. So you go through and it's like projected on the wall. But like when you shoot your little gun, and at the end you get a tally of all the shots you made. But when you shoot the gun, it'll kill the troll or whatever. You zap them all to save the day or whatever. But it was really cool because we weren't expecting anything like that. And so that was really neat. And you do that, and it was kind of cool. I will say, when you go places that aren't necessarily homeschool specific, and sometimes, you feel like you stand out, even when you really don't, but you feel like you might not fit into conversations or you can't relate to certain things when they're talking about like school stuff. But it was just really cool standing in line listening to all the conversations, and it was all homeschoolers. And so
That's awesome.
everyone's talking about like co-ops and curriculum. And even though I don't know these people, I didn't introduce myself, but it's like, oh no, I'm with my people.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. And so we did the ride, we got off, and then we went into this massive room where they have all these stations with these giant bins of Legos. So like the first one we walk up to was it's like a Lego race thing. Like, so you're supposed to build a car and they've got different ramps. And you learn, I mean, I watched kids figuring out, okay, well, if I put this much on the back end of the car, it'll go faster. Or if I put, if the car's too light, it's not going to get any air. I mean, it was really cool watching the kids like build their cars and then race them. And my children were watching the races too. And like to the point where my son was getting like right up on what the kids were doing, looking at them racing their cars. So he was very, very into that. And then after that, there's this like pirate area where there's this ship and you can like go up into it, and it kind of has like the mesh thing that goes
Yeah.
around the top, like play places do. And they had like giant Legos there that you could play with.
Cool. My son is super into pirates right now.
He would love that area. And there's a slide. There's definitely one slide, maybe two slides there. So it's like a little play area. And what I loved about that area is there was one entrance and one exit. So I could sit right by that, and I could sit down because they do have chairs in there and let them kind of play and explore. They also have a 4D cinema. It's a very quick, gosh, maybe like 10-minute film. But it's 4D, like you're going to get wet, you're going to feel the wind, like your seats are going to vibrate. It was really cool. The kids really giggled about it. And my kids have this Lego, is it called Lego and Friends? It's a specific type of set that they have that's got these, people and even this pet, and they have named the pet something
Okay.
ridiculous, and I
Yeah.
can't even remember what it is, but I remember being like, "Oh, Pickles." Maybe they didn't name the pet. I think the pet came named, and the pet's name is Pickles. And so we're watching this thing, and my daughter's like, "Hey, I think I have that girl." And then my son goes, "Pickles! It's Pickles!" So it was really cool because they already knew, like, they were familiar with the characters, and so they really enjoyed that.
Had they ever had a 4D experience before this one? Because
I
those are
don't
super memorable. I remember having a 4D experience when I was probably about your son's age, and it just like I remember it.
I don't know that they have. We went to the the Tennessee Aquarium in Chattanooga and did their 3D thing. My son did not like it at the time, so I actually got up and left with him, but my daughter loved it. But I think that was for sure his first.
Yeah.
So it was fun. The kids really enjoyed it. So then we came back out to let them go continue to explore because it's so big. the main area where you have all, the race cars and there's a spaceship one. My kids loved the spaceship one. Let me just tell you, yours would too, because this is actually really cool. And I'm going to put some of this footage on socials. You build a rocket with the Legos.
Okay.
And then you go up to this station and you put your rocket in this little box. Then you take the controls and you press launch, and this like piping lights up as it sends your rocket into space. And then up on this giant screen in front of you, your rocket appears and it like goes through, like you can fly your rocket through space. And it like, I mean, it is the rocket that you built. It was so cool. My kids spent so much time there. We built so many spaceships because you can just keep doing it over and over again,
It's very cool.
yeah, it was very cool. They also have like landmark icons from like Atlanta built out of Legos around. So there's stuff to see too. It's not just, sitting around building things. But the other thing they do have, we did not take advantage of this because I really wanted to have a little bit more freedom. But they call them master model builders. And they've got these 2 classrooms within this big area. And I think they probably use them for like private parties too. But they have these master model builders come in and they do little workshops and
Oh,
they're all
interesting.
themed. And we were there, I don't know, maybe 3 hours. And there were 2 that happened while we were there. And they would come out and announce like, hey, in 5 minutes, be over in room A for this particular class. And so we will go back probably this next March at some point, and we'll do one of those because they'll really enjoy that.
Was that an additional cost? Or
No,
was that
it's
that was included in your
it's
ticket?
included. Yep, it's included.
Wow.
And they even have an area for littles. It's called Duplo Park. And
Oh, yeah, the Duplos.
yes, and it's got, things, obviously not a ton of like tiny Lego pieces laying around, but it's still very Lego themed and they can climb on stuff. There's like a little merry-go-round in there. So there's even stuff for your littles, but it was a really cool experience and they don't allow, and I have to talk about the food. They don't allow any outside food or drink. And so they do have a cafe inside that you can get food and drink and stuff in, but like obviously our family can't can't eat anything there.
Yeah.
But they do have that availability if that's something that you want to do. And you can stay, there is no time limit. It's like you could stay there all day if you wanted to on your $9.
That's really cool too, especially for folks like us where like it's a haul. It's going to be probably a little over an hour for us to get into Buckhead from where we live.
Yeah.
So that's nice that it's not like you drive all this way to be somewhere just for an hour. You
Right.
drive and you could spend as long as one, your kid's interest, and two, your stamina
Yeah.
for being there.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Cool. We kind of glossed over something.
Okay.
You said that you didn't tell your kids where you all were going.
Yeah, I didn't. They
So
were
what happened when they like found out where they were? This is something that you do that I love. You are really good at helping your kids have like a really big wow moment. Like
yeah,
you like surprising your kids.
I
It's
do.
sweet.
I love a surprise and I love creating like the magic around
Yeah.
it. But selfishly, I really hate the 10,000 questions. And if I were to tell them ahead of time, I'm going to be talking about this from the moment I tell them until the moment we get there.
So I'm
But
laughing so hard because so you.
yes, yes. And so it was this really cool moment of us like coming up the escalator. And as we kind of descended and the realization hit, and they were so excited and they had no idea what to expect. I mean, honestly, I didn't have any idea what to expect, but they were just really, really jazzed to get in there. And I will say this, I do want to put this caveat because I was thinking like if my husband had been with us, my husband does not do crowds. And so I will say, even on the homeschool day, it wasn't uncomfortably crowded, but it just in some parts, like when you're
Mm.
going through to make your little Lego character, when you're in line for the ride, in some parts there, just be aware if you do have a person with you that is sensitive to that, it can feel a little a little crowded. But again, because you're not on a time limit, take your time. Go through, like when we were building our little Lego people, take your time. You
Yeah.
know? Like, it's not if your kid needs to spend 5 minutes looking through the bucket to find the perfect head for his Lego person, that's totally fine.
There's no rush. You're not on a
Right.
schedule.
Right. And, you do want to be mindful of those around you and making sure that you're not, like, hindering anybody from moving along their journey as well. You can be leisurely, and, like, we didn't have anything to do at all that day, so we were leisurely. So it was cool. My kids got to, carry their little Lego person around. And there's little, like I said, there's places where you can take little pictures with your Lego people. And then, of course, you can play with them with your rocket ship or with your race car. And it's a great time for them to, especially during those homeschool days, to like make new friends too. My son started interacting and like building with some of the other boys around. And it's
Nice.
not so large that, like, how it's laid out, my son could be doing the race car thing and my daughter could be doing the spaceship thing, and I could be in the middle and still feel close enough to both of them,
Cool.
and also still have eyes on both of them. And that's one thing I think is super cool about the layout. The spaceship thing is like a step up. It's a little bit elevated. So you're not looking at everything like on this linear plane. So
Mm.
it's just better. I felt comfortable. I didn't feel stressed. I didn't feel like I was like, where are my kids? So that was nice. And again, they could just do this spaceship thing over and over again, and they did.
Yeah. That's one of the things sometimes you go places and your kid gets really into like an activity or whatever, but like you have to move them along. Like they can only do it once or whatever.
Yeah.
That's really nice that if they got really into something, they could do it over and over and over again. And like was it kind of different times?
Oh, yeah.
That's really cool.
Well, because your rocket, how you built it, would depend on how it would move through space. I mean, it was very well done.
That
Very
is
well
very well
done.
done. And there's tons of learning in
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
That's really, really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool. And so at the end, because again, you can't take your little person home with you. There's like a person standing at the exit that says, "Hey, if you drop your little person in here, I'll give you a button." But the button was really cool because you put the front part on the outside of your shirt and the back circle goes on the inside of your shirt, but the front button like sinks down into it. So it's not magnet, it's not a pin. It's just like this little plastic thing that fits together. And yes, it creates an unfortunate dent in your shirt, but I mean, they really enjoyed, like, they still have them and they still play with them.
Yeah, and it is nice to not have that, like, sharp, pokey part for
Yeah.
a kid.
Or like a
Yeah.
magnet that you have to worry about losing. So you get that on your way out. And then you go, of course, every place is going to have a shop. They want you
Sure,
to
of
buy some
course.
things.
Yep.
And listen, I feel like I can say this next part because they're not sponsoring this episode. So I have no reason to, feel bad about it. But here's the thing. We went into the Lego shop and it was really cool to look around and see what all they had to offer. And they have this really cool area where you can get custom Lego people made. So you could get like a Lego person that looked like you.
Oh, wow.
I did not even price it because I'm certain it was not something we would be interested in. But we were able to go through. My kids were like, "Oh, I want this. I want this." And as they were looking at things, I just would look at it on my phone just because, homeschool families, we got to support each other.
Yep, yep.
The markup is real.
Okay.
I mean, it was pretty substantial. And so we ended up finding the 2 Lego sets that the kids wanted for like $10 cheaper elsewhere. And we're able to get those ordered because I did want them to like have something that, hey, I can look back and say, hey, we got this because of this experience. And we're not talking like $60 Lego sets. I'm talking like $15, $16 here.
Yeah, yeah. So what I hear you saying is prepare to say the thing that you're gonna walk away with today is the button, and how cool is your button,
Mhm.
and let's see if we can find something that you
Yes.
really like and have it ordered.
And I also think that is a really good opportunity to teach children about experiences versus material things.
Yes.
Because the prize here, they're like, can we get a prize? Can we get a treat? The treat here is this thing. The treat here is
Yes.
this experience that you got to do. And you don't necessarily I really feel like we as a family did a disservice to my oldest when she was the only. And I mean, because she's the first daughter, she's the first granddaughter. So she was the first kid in my family in a long time. And so we'd go somewhere and, oh, well, she can have a little treat. This was in the before times, before I knew the things that I know now.
Yeah.
But sure, she could get a little snack at the register or she could get a little treat or whatever. And so then it became this expectation that when we went somewhere, she got something. And so we've
Right.
had to work hard to break that. And so it was a good opportunity to talk to them about, like, I do want to get you a Lego set, but I'm not going to get it from here. And I'm not getting it just because you deserve to get a Lego set from this thing. I want to do this for you. It was in the budget. We had planned it.
Yeah.
But it's not, it's not a given. And we don't need to buy it here just for the sake of buying it here. But it was cool to, look around and see everything that they had to offer. And the kids enjoyed seeing all the different sets and it gave them ideas for birthdays and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
I think that's a really good point, and that's something that we should really think about as homeschool families who are going out and doing all these things. We don't always need a souvenir.
Mhm.
We can take some pictures to remember. We can talk
Yes.
about what was our favorite thing that we did today, what was something we would want to come back and do again, that like those memories can be what we take. And I will say I learned something from a friend in a gift shop at the end of an experience that I thought was really wise,
Okay.
which was, I hear that you would really like that. Let's add it to your wish list.
Yes.
Oh
Yes.
gosh, that's become like my favorite thing. Now the wish list is, I can't remember everything on it because we talk about the wish list so much. It's sort of this like, I don't know, it's this wild thing. And it's not, he doesn't really hold it all in his brain, but it is a great way. And he'll sometimes even be like, "Oh, I don't really want it that bad that I want to put it on my wish list," which I think is
Yeah.
also a good conversation to have. Well, if we don't want it so bad that we would put it on our wish list, then we certainly don't need to get it today.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, for
that's a really
sure.
good point, and, like, I'm glad you told that story, especially because we talk about going on this podcast, we talk about going to all sorts of places, and if
Yes.
you were to get something at
So
every
expensive.
place that we talk about, I mean, you can't you that's just, like, an unsustainable expectation to set on your kids, so that's a really good point and thing to think through.
Yeah. And I also wanted to note that, just talking about money and expenses, if you were to go to the Lego Museum, nope, I did it again. If you were to go to the Lego Discovery Center, not on a homeschool day, not with a group or whatever, you're paying $25 a ticket. It's $24.99 a ticket, ages 2 and up.
Goodness gracious, okay.
This is wild. I'm reading the website right now, and this is actually a really cool thing. It says, because I was trying to find out if there's a price difference for adults and kids, but the price is $24.99 regardless. But it says that adults must be accompanied by at least one child 17 and under to enter.
Well, I really like that policy as a
I
mom who is
really like that policy.
aware and doing my best in a hard world
Yes.
to keep my kids safe. And
I
I'm
love that.
realistic. I can't keep my kid from safe from everything. But hey,
Sure.
thank you,
Yes.
Lego Discovery Center, for partnering with me in that.
Yes. Yeah,
That
I
is
love
really
that.
cool.
I was like, "Why are they the same price, but they're 2?" And it's because there was that little disclaimer of the adults have to be, accompanied by. Now listen, I am a sucker for an adults only night. My husband and I
Yes.
used to go to the aquariums adult only night, so if they wanna do an adult only night, that could be fun.
Great.
But
Yes.
I love that, I love that. So they're $25, and of course, as a military family, I'm always looking to see, do you military discount? And they do. Their military discount tickets are $21. So the fact that the homeschool tickets are $9 is amazing.
That is great.
Such a deal.
And it really answers the question of, should I be paying attention to when their homeschool month is, or should I just
Yes.
go? You should go during homeschool month, 100%.
And part of me wonders if the crowds might have been less towards the beginning of the month.
I had
Maybe
that thought when
and
you were
I
saying that it was sort of crowded in some spots. I had that thought of, well, was everyone scrambling to get in towards the end of the
right.
month?
Or maybe people like me were, "Hey, I just found out about this because other people have been posting it, and so now I really wanna do this."
Yeah, I think that's a fair guess. I wonder if even maybe like the middle of the month, like the people who know
Maybe.
about it go at the beginning, and then there's
Yeah.
maybe a lull. and then the
Yeah.
other people find out about it, and then they try to get in before the end of the month. That's
Yeah.
cool. I'm going next year. I'm just gonna say it now. I'm going
Yes.
next year.
Yes, and I think I'm gonna try to go towards the beginning of the month just to see, and we went not only did we go at the end of the month, we went at the end of the week, so I'm wondering if, like, maybe a Tuesday would be better, and I say better, there wasn't anything bad about it, like,
Right.
now, let me also say this, and I say this from, like, a frugal mama standpoint. I'm so grateful that they do the homeschool pricing because I would not be able to justify that would be $75
Yeah.
for me and my 2 kids to go,
Right.
and I couldn't justify that, but $9 per person? Heck yeah, I can justify that.
Yeah. Well, and especially when you add on to it that it's the hour drive, hour plus drive there, hour plus drive home. So you're at least having to figure out one meal out of the home, whether that's that you're packing up a meal and taking it
Right.
to eat somewhere or you're needing to buy a meal out in the city. So, yeah, that's a really expensive prospect when you add it up the time, the gas, the food, all of that on top of it.
Yeah.
And that's such a deep discount. And what that really tells me is that the folks there are really supporters of homeschool families, that they get it
Yeah.
and they want us there and they support us. That's really cool.
And they've been doing this for a long time because I called and asked some questions after the fact because I wanted to make sure I gave everybody the best possible information. And they've been doing this for a while. And so, I think a lot of times we think, oh, this is just like a new trendy thing that there's all this homeschool stuff, or, oh, this homeschool thing that I'm just hearing about, it must be new. No, this has been going on for a long time. And I literally only found out about it because a friend went and posted pictures of her and her kid, and the algorithm saw fit to let me see it in time. Because that's
Yeah.
the thing, like, I had to also see it in time. That circling all the way back to the beginning of our conversation, that event was part of the conversation that led to this podcast because
Yes.
I came to you and said, "There's gotta be a master list somewhere.
Right.
We've got to have a resource where we can go, okay, it's March. What is there to do in and around this area?" And you're like, "Well, let's do it."
Maybe we have to be the people who
Yeah.
bring these things to everyone's attention. Yeah, because you came and you said I had this really cool experience. And I think part of it is you were letting me know that you thought my son would really enjoy it. But by the time you were telling me, because like you said, you went at the end of the week and like the last day of the month was going to be a Monday. And I actually remember it so clearly too, because it was when we had family visiting. And so there was
Mhm.
just really nothing I could have done because we already
Yeah.
had all our plans. And I remember thinking, gosh, what a bummer that this has been going on for 4 weeks and I didn't know about it. And that's okay because we don't miss out on what's for us. But I'm so glad to now be more aware. And it's made me, I also, that conversation led to this podcast, but I also think it's made me more interested in seeking out, oh, that place looks really cool. I'd like to go there. Let me do some digging and see if they
Yes.
have a homeschool day, a homeschool
Right.
month, a homeschool rate, whatever the way that they're thinking about homeschool families. Because I do find that the more conversations we're having, the more we're hearing, "Oh, we've been doing this for a long
Mhm.
time. This is not like a since 2020 trend. This is that we've cared about homeschool families for a lot longer than that." And I think that is heartening to hear as a homeschool family that like there's people that are out there creating programs for us and they're not catching some like buzzy trend.
Right.
They sincerely want to support this population.
And conversely, the more of us who are supporting these places who do that, the more places will do that. And the
Yes.
more there will be, the more we say, "Hey, we're here and we want to party too."
Yes.
The more places will be like, "Yes, come party with us. Like, let's have a good time." And
Yes.
so it is becoming more mainstream. I say that very loosely. It's becoming more common and
Yes.
not so like, "Oh gosh, you homeschool." That I think, we're going to see an emergence of places doing more stuff like this and realizing that like homeschool groups are groups too.
Yeah. Homeschool
And
families are families too.
yes. And, I even recently had a conversation with a place that for the longest time they had a homeschool day, but because of how much it's growing, now they have to have a date range. You can come
Yep.
anytime in this date range under the homeschool program.
Yeah.
So I love that. And I love that this allows us, because the other thing going back to the financials, a lot of us homeschool families are one income family or
Mhm.
one main income, and mom's over here like hustling her little booty off, trying to make some extra income on the side.
Yep.
And so it's nice to be able to still, my child isn't at a public school system where I get that discounted ticket rate for them to go. So it's really awesome that we can still benefit from that because that $9 per person is actually also the school rate.
Yes.
So we get the exact same rate that the public schools do, which is really stinking cool.
It is really cool. And I hope that someone listening hears this and realizes that it's okay to call the place that you want to go to up and see if they have anything for homeschoolers because there's a great chance that they do and that they have, and somehow it's just flown under your radar. But we also have to ask for what we want and need.
Yeah.
And if they don't, and they say, oh, we've never done that. And that's part of like our hope for this podcast is that you would hear this cool thing and maybe it's not Atlanta is not on your travel list for the next year or two. And so you're not going to get to come to do this experience. But you can then say to something nearby you, if they say, well, like, what would that look like? You can say,
Yes.
Lego Discovery Center in Atlanta offers a homeschool month.
Yeah.
And now you've got a model to help create more things like this. Like, we
Yeah.
just want to keep talking about how great these things are and how many of them there are, but also how they can inspire more.
Yeah. And I also want to say that just like with the public school groups, with the homeschool groups, so this is not applicable to the homeschool days in March, but when you do a group, you get one free adult chaperone for every 5 students booked.
Nice.
So if you have 10, your minimum of 10, that means you can get 2 adults in for free. So you could even potentially then just like average out the cost of the tickets and everyone could then end up paying less than $9 per ticket. Because if you have 20 kids, that's 4 adults that you can get in for free.
That's great.
So I think that's really cool. And it just overall was this very cool experience that did not feel like it took up a lot of time and mental energy. Like, yes, it was a little bit of a drive, but it's fine. That wasn't a huge deal, but it wasn't a hassle to get to. It was just this lovely thing. And then we went to the Battery, which is at Truist Park where the Braves play. It's like their live, play, eat kind of complex or whatever, and had a lovely lunch. And it was just this really cool experience for me and the kids to do. And yeah, we're for sure going to do it again.
I loved when you told me about going and doing that day and you said it was so great. But then when we got done, I just sort of was like, where do I go? What do I do next for lunch? And what I loved is how you were like, wait, I go to where I feel comfortable. I went and I did
Yeah.
this brand new thing all morning. I surprised my kids. I let them play here for hours. And now I'm going to go do something that feels good for me. Because
Yeah.
that's important too.
Yeah. And I do love a little bit of spontaneity. Like don't get it twisted. I'm such a planner and I like to have my ducks in a row, especially when I'm doing new things. But every now and then I just like get this wild hair that's like, you know what? This is what we're gonna do because we can, and nobody's telling us we can't. And
I
that's
love
what
it.
that day was for me because everybody kind of came out when we came out of the area. It was lunchtime. And so everyone was just swarming these little, I don't want to say restaurants, the food court
Yes.
places or whatever. And I was kind of getting stressed because we do have dietary restrictions. And so I can't just like walk up and be like, hey, I want a taco. I have to look at the menu and I have to evaluate what we can and can't eat. And so I just did feel pressure at that point because there were so many people and everybody's trying to get their food. And I can just see those poor little restaurant workers getting overwhelmed at the sheer volume of people. And so it was like, hey, guess what? We don't have to eat here. And my kids love walking around the Battery. I knew it wasn't a game day, so we were safe to like go have some fun and, whatever. And so, yeah, I was like, let's just do this. And that was part of the fun of it was just like, let's just go have an adventure.
Yes. I
And
love
we did.
that. All this month, we're celebrating Sarah Ernst, creator of Wild Pickle Press and friend of the podcast. Sarah's books and music seek to empower kids. Visit Sarah's world of story and song at wildpicklepress.com, where you'll find uplifting, imaginative, and wonder-filled content for the whole family. Sarah says music is sticky, so make sure what sticks is good, and we're excited and thankful for Sarah's music to stick right here on the podcast as our theme song. We hope you enjoy it as much as we do. Okay, so can you tell us about a win from that day? What was your homeschooling win that day?
My homeschooling win was I challenged myself by doing something new and something outside of my general radius. You know, it's a commitment. You got to get down there, right? And I did it. And
I love
I
it. Yes.
wasn't exhausted after it. I was actually pretty energized, and I got to, I know a lot of homeschool moms are very much like, let's all do this together. Want to be very hands-on, and I'm not that mom. I love watching my kids be independent in their schoolwork. I pick curriculum specifically that will lend itself to that more so. Like, of course I'm there, I'm watching, I'm helping when help is needed, but I do love the independence. So I don't often get to be kind of fully immersed in things like that. You know, when we do experiments and stuff, even then, I'm instructing them, okay, now do this, whatever. But I actually really enjoyed the spaceship thing.
I could tell.
So I just really I felt like we all got to play. It wasn't like we went to this place. I mean, I did sit down when they went to the pirate ship area, but we all got to play together. And while I'm not generally like building, I did go on a very weird journey one time when I was sick. We were stuck in the house. My daughter had this brand new Lego set, and I stayed up far too late. And my mom was like, "Who's building this? You or her?" I was like, "It's fine. I just need to get her to a certain point." My mom was like, "Where's that point going to be?" But I'm not generally like, I like to watch them build, and I get really excited when they show me cool things that they've built, but I'm not artsy in that way. But it was really fun to do as a family. And I felt like I could be really present with them. And so I think that was my win, is that we did this new thing outside of our comfort zone, and it didn't exhaust us. We weren't like, okay, I'm glad we did it, but we're never going to do it again. You know, it was a
Right.
really good experience. And, you and I have talked off mic before about having confidence as a mom. And I definitely think that whole experience gave me an added layer of confidence as a mom that, hey, this is what can happen when you there was just hardly any planning involved in this because it all happened so fast. It's like, oh, they're in March, so you have like 2 days left to do this. So you just got to commit and go. So it all came together really fast, and it was great.
I love
And
it.
I just love that.
That's so great. Thank you for sharing that. All of it.
Yeah.
So great. All right, Kayla, where can the people find you?
They can find me at @ScratchMadeSimple_ on Instagram and at ScratchMadeSimple on TikTok.
Awesome.
And where can they find you?
You can find me at Recreating Camp on Instagram and recreatingcamp.com. You can find us at Homeschooling Down South on all the socials, and you can email us at hello@homeschoolingdownsouth.com.
And if you enjoyed today's episode, we would love for you to give us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and a 5-star rating on Spotify.
All right, y'all. We'll see you next week.
Bye, y'all.
And we'll love together, we'll learn together, explore this whole wide world together. No matter where we are, I have